In a small town, nestled far from the bustling city, there stood an old decaying department store named Harrington's Emporium. Once a thriving hub of commerce, it had been abandoned for decades, its shelves and mannequins left to gather dust and cobwebs, but as the townsfolk whispered, something eerie had taken root within its walls. Late one night, a curious group of teenagers decided to explore the decrepit Emporium. Armed with flashlights, they cautiously entered the store, their steps echoing eerily through the empty aisles. As they wandered deeper, they stumbled upon a checkout counter covered in tattered receipts and broken cash registers. Upon a closer look, they noticed a single functioning cash register with a flickering display. Intrigued, one of the teens pressed a button, and to their astonishment, the display illuminated with a total amount due. Puzzled and fascinated, they continued to press buttons, watching as the display showed various prices and items that seemed to have no connection to the items around them. Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered and dimmed, casting long shadows across the store. Panicking, the group turned their flashlights toward the checkout counter, only to find an unsettling sight. A translucent figure dressed in outdated store attire stood behind the counter, a haunting smile on its face. Frozen in fear, the teens watched as the ghostly figure began to scan non-existent items and punch imaginary buttons on the cash register. The eerie sound of beeping and rustling receipts filled the air, accompanied by a hollow, distant laughter. As the figure continued its spectral work, the display on the cash register started showing random numbers and gibberish. One of the brave teens mustered the courage to ask, "Who are you?" The figure turned its gaze toward them, its eyes like empty voids. In a whisper that seemed to echo from another world, it replied, "I am the last cashier of Harrington's Emporium, eternally bound to calculate prices that no longer matter." As the words hung in the air, the figure suddenly vanished, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of emptiness. The lights flickered back to life, revealing the store in its usual abandoned state. The teens rushed out of the Emporium, shaken by the encounter. From that night on, the townspeople claimed that on some dark evenings, they could hear the faint sound of beeping cash registers and distant laughter emanating from the old Harrington's Emporium. A chilling reminder of the phantom checkout that continued its spectral calculations in the realm between the living and the forgotten.